Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Nick J. Crocco, and I'm one of the consultants here at Quad. I always like to tell students a little bit about my own backstory before we talk all about them. Originally was born in upstate New York. Then my father moved us to Cape Cod when I went to a very small private high school where I had 33 students in my graduating class called Cape Cod Academy. Ultimately went off to college myself at Vanderbilt University, double major in history and anthropology with a minor in European studies. Went to Vanderbilt's Peabody College of Education and Human Development, got my master's in higher education administration. I also have a certificate from the University of California, Los Angeles in college counseling. And on top of that, also have my doctorate of professional leadership from the University of Houston. So a lot of degrees in education, and it's just something that kind of fit really well with me. So I began my admissions career. Basically, I was a tour guide for my own high school. As a private high school, you had to recruit prospective families. But also, once I got to Vanderbilt, I decided to be a tour guide for prospective families looking at the university. And I just really kind of got interested in the process. I was curious to learn more about kind of what they looked for and what they didn't. So my first official admissions gig was at my alma mater, Vanderbilt University, Vanderbilt University's Office of Undergraduate Admissions. From there, I've also worked at the University of Pennsylvania as an auxiliary reader and also doing MBA admissions at American University's Kogod School of Business. I actually teach college counseling to adult learners at Rice University online. One of the things I try to do as a counselor is I try to be funny, but I try to keep it real. And I try to answer their questions and figure out kind of where it is that they're coming from. So for some students, that might be they're looking at an ultra-selective university, or they're looking at a very good state school, or they could be looking at a smart liberal arts college or a specialty school or a service academy. So wherever it is that they're hoping for and going for, that's exactly what I'm trying to help them find their way to get to that path. So we advise them as best we can, just so that they have as strong a bid as possible when they are applying for admission. What I often tell students is, I can't do what you do. I'm not going to be a great engineer and build a bridge. I'm not going to write the great American novel. I'm not going to, have some medical breakthrough, but I can help you get to a place where you can do those things. So it's really rewarding 4 years after they've gone off to undergrad is seeing what they're doing afterward, whether they go to graduate school or an employment, or sometimes you get an announcement that they graduate from business school or med school or nursing school down the pike. So those are things I find really rewarding. So it's helping them get to a place where they can be successful and contribute to society. So I definitely say start early. And what I often tell students is that if you think about the college process, as a ninth grader, you have your highest level of control over your application because you haven't written it yet, or perhaps your least amount of interest because you're just ninth grader. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as you go through high school, it's like a variables that switch. Now you're much more interested in what they're looking for and whatnot, but you don't have as much control. So I try to balance my approach so that we're not going to sit down in ninth grade and go, okay, here's everything we have to do week by week to get to this place. But as we start to figure out what a student's interested in, where they might want to go, what they might want to study, then we can be a little bit more specific as to how we're dictating that search. But I would also say too is be patient. Like, this is a process where there's a lot of waiting, and it's hard because students work so hard in their apps and they submit them, and then they have to wait weeks or even months before they get a response back. But it will all work out, And one thing I'm always doing is I'm looking to make sure that the list is balanced, that there's options, and that we have a good admission strategy for wherever we're applying.